So I want to talk a little bit about resistance to healing. I've really come up with this a lot since I've started talking with others who are dealing with mold toxicity, and I didn't recognize it in myself while I was going through it. And only now, through talking to others and learning more about their experiences, have I really realized that it is a thing. I just got through reading a book about resistance, The War on Art, I think. And it's all around us. We do it all of the time. Every time that we know that we need to do something, and it's what's holding us back from doing what we want to do. And it can come from a lot of different things. A lot of the times we see it as rational or reasonable. But yeah, I experienced a lot of resistance. I felt when I was in the midst of just having one symptom after the other, and I think the worst one for me was just how my back pain, my lower back pain was so bad, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And plus, you're just brain fog. You just don't really know even where things are coming from. But I recognized with that, because I was gonna have to go and do something. I'd already been to the orthopedist about my wrist giving me such problems, so I knew that I was gonna have to go and see somebody soon, because I was just not gonna be able to make it. And I was, where is all of this coming from? And I was getting very down, very depressed, and was just thinking that I was just going to have to live like this forever. And your brain, when you're dealing with mold toxicity or any kind of environmental illness, and it is affecting, the inflammation from that is affecting all systems of your body, and it definitely does a number on your brain. And it does cause, the inflammation does cause your brain to become depressed. It's a physiological response, and the amount of negative emotions that are flooding your being, and you're in this negative loop, and it only makes what you're experiencing in with other things just that much worse. And it's hard to see that you can find a way out of that when your mind is there, when it's your brain doing this. And I don't know how. I was just laying in the bed, and I'm telling you, I know I keep harping on this, but I was in the bed and did not want to get out. And on Facebook, on one of my adrenal fatigue Facebook groups that I was looking through, and somebody asked about what had helped them with adrenal fatigue, and another lady responded DNRS, and I was like, well, what is that? Questioning, being curious is always good. And so I looked it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds just like what I'm going through. And I was trying to find anything that I could to help. I'm just that kind of person. I've always wanted to be helped. Not always, but for the last decade or whatever, I'd really fought to be healthy, and I knew that I wasn't. I didn't understand why, but just starting that and keeping with it, and realizing that I was going to just see if it could help me. And I didn't realize it at the time how much it was helping me to get through things. But now looking back, it got me out of that dark, deep place where I could see nothing but dread, and I was just so sad, and see your circumstances as just bleak. It started to get me out of that, and I started to see hope. I started to gain strength in myself. And just going through the program and tapping into more of that, I was able to tap more into that the spiritual part of things that not necessarily from the DNRs, but I kept searching and finding things, and then I went to Gupta, and I didn't do his program, but I still looked him up, and I found the Meaning of Life app that he did, and then I started going through that, and just the whole spiritual aspect of that, and connecting with something bigger than yourself, and realizing that you yourself are a part of a whole, and that whole is with you. You are the whole, and the connection with everything around you, and the connection of everything in your body. And it was sort of like once I got my brain out of that deep dark thing and then started to connect with that higher power, then things really started to get me out of a bad place. I was not healed. I still didn't know at that time that I had mold toxicity. And so I still was in my moldy house doing all of this. And so I had convinced myself, because I'd gotten out of the bed, and I even decided to go to Costa Rica during that time. But still, that was a very impactful, powerful part of my healing right there, to get out of that dark place with the DNRS and then start to connect with that higher source. And that gave me strength to know that there was that kind of connection that I had. I'd lost that. And I was at a place where it gave me the strength, it gave me the courage to continue on. And I knew that I had it within me to go forward and to figure out what was going on. It still took a while after that before I realized that what I was actually dealing with was mold toxicity. And at this point in my life right now, like I said, I'm still not 100%. I am about to go up to the next phase of that, so I'll let you know how that goes. But just connecting to that and increasing the spiritual part of you, if you can connect with that and get out of that brain space that's telling you that you cannot heal, that you've got too many symptoms and you're just too far gone. If you can find the strength to start doing something like the limbic system retraining, tapping help to just sort of move that energy around to I did start doing more meditation after I got my brain into a more calm space, and I did start calming my nervous system down some. I also started Joe Dispenza's work, and so that's really helped with connecting with a higher source too. So all of those things together helped me to build my spiritual being, which really helped to decrease the resistance. It's still there. We all deal with it. We're always going to deal with it. But I realize now what's happening, and when you're aware, things hold a whole lot less power on you. So you just have to tap into that, and it's a daily process. We have to do it. We have to choose to do that every day. So that is my hope for you if you are in a place where you don't feel like that there's any way that you're going to heal. There is a way. You've just got to make the decision and make the choice that this is what I'm going to do. Everything in our body is connected, and if you find the root cause of what's going on and you can get your brain to see that there's a different way, you can get there. You can do it.